why am I laughing? That's the funny thing with me. Why am I laughing? I'm laughing because this is a big game. I'm laughing because Arsenal's record at Stamford Bridge. I'm laughing because I'm still waiting for DT to honour his bet, i.e. £50 that Arsenal would be finished above Chelsea. I'm laughing because there are still people that don't believe that Eden Hazard is the best player in the Premier League. I am laughing because people are really not giving this Arsenal team a chance. Because look, let me be real with you. I try hard to, and if I do, I smack myself in the face. I try not to be a click-based channel. I'm not here to be like, oh, anti-Arsenal, oh my gosh, Arsenal Cup 6, oh, Arsenal, same old Arsenal. I'm not there for that. This is the Half of Football Hot. This is a football analysis channel, and the whole point of it is to tell the truth, to tell the objective footballing truth. And I do feel that, Emery and Arsenal needs to be given time. There are some superbly talented guys in the Arsenal team. So the Wenger was ruining the team. He was tactically the front and was going nowhere. Emery isn't perfect. He still is suffering from the miracle at Camp Nou. He's not perfect, but I'm sorry, a guy that wins 3 Europa Leagues, a guy that plays the kind of brand football he played with that Sevilla team, and with the players that he has, I think that Arsenal can definitely do something. So I just think that it is a bit wrong for people to really go in on Arsenal first to begin with. But this is a tough game for Emery and for Arsenal. And the thing is that I don't really buy into the whole, oh my gosh, Arsenal never won at Stamford Bridge and everything. I don't get how people use that as a tactic, because how many times has Aubameyang or Lacazette played at Stamford Bridge? I think this might be the first time that Torreira is playing at Stamford Bridge if he plays. So, and Socrates, how many times has he played at Stamford Bridge? So it's different players, and I think different players are not weighted down by the whole psychological thing. And I think if you're a manager or a coach, you don't even want to think about the whole, oh my gosh, look, we've not really won so long at Stamford Bridge and so forth. That is completely irrelevant. Every game is a new game. So really with Chelsea right now, speaking of which, I have a bone to pick. You see, I love what's happening with fan channels right now, because the beauty of what you're seeing with fan channels is you're seeing an alternative voice. Before the internet, before we had the ability to have these fan channels, we were stuck with ESPN FC. We would have been stuck with guys like Craig Borley and those dudes giving us their view. One dude on ESPN FC, remember, this guy is being paid. Remember, this is not about me, Chelsea fan, Arsenal fan. This is about objective football truth. A guy is being paid to analyze, and he's being paid to say that at Napoli, there were 7 or 8 players more important at Napoli than Jorginho. Like, that's insane. To be paid to have a footballing analytical comment like that is crazy. Because when I just hear that, I'm like, wow, I mean, life really is unfair, because again, I'm not paid directly to do this. And a lot of you guys are not paid directly to this, and a lot of us who are not paid anything to do this, we know for a fact that we know what football is, and Jorginho was critical to that Napoli system. Obviously Jorginho was Jorginho, Allan and Hamsik in that midfield, but so Insigne, Hamsik, after Insigne and Hamsik, then you say Higuain. After those 3, you roll in Jorginho. So Allan is more important than Jorginho. Callejon, that break. So look, but I think what I'm looking forward to this. I mean, let's deal with Chelsea first, and we go with Arsenal. So what I'm looking forward with Chelsea right now is I want to see Eden Hazard from the start in this Sarri system. Second game at Stamford Bridge, Hazard is starting, Pedro is there. I want to just see how these guys flow, and I want to see how well they can implement their passing game and how well they can control and dominate the game. But the key thing is Hazard. I told you, Hazard is that if you think of the system as like a cake, the icing on it, the taste bud, whenever you like making a pancake, the little strawberry mix that you put inside is the Hazard thing. So for Hazard, it's how he combines with Morata, how he combines with Pedro, how he brings in Alonso off the flank, how he can bring in Jorginho, how he can find those gaps in spaces, because he's the guy that's going to be able to turn that really turn those attacks into something very creative. Morata is still a brick, and I get what Sarri is trying to do. He's obviously trying to say because that's what every manager wants. They want a challenge, and his challenge is I am going to be the guy that turns Morata from a brick to a stud. And for all those guys saying that, oh my gosh, Morata did well against Huddersfield. No, he didn't. He was a brick. Morata is still being a brick. Okay, he's crap. Currently, right now, he's crap. I still think he is an amazingly talented player. I believe that he still has an amazing technical ability. But as of right now, how he's playing like complete and utter garbage. That's just a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Switching over to Arsenal right now. So I'm looking, and this is what I even said before. Emery, you have to have Aubameyang and Lacazette. 100%. You have to create a situation where Lacazette and Aubameyang are in the team. Now, I'm looking at the Guardians setup right now, and what they have is Lacazette as a striker. So they are rolling with a 4-2-3-1. So Mkhitaryan left, Ozil in the number 10, Aubameyang in the wide right. Now, people keep on happening on about me with this and everything. So God, can you just shut up with your whole strike partnership? What's wrong with the strike partnership? What is wrong with playing Aubameyang and Lacazette as two strikers? Now, let me go even deeper here. Now, if I'm Emery and I'm studying Chelsea's team, Rudiger is a very solid defender. Like I told you, the Rudiger I saw at Roma was a guy who was he was average, but I always felt nervous whenever he had the ball, and he was very kind of untidy in the way that he was doing his tackling. He has improved so much. He is far more adept, far tidier in his defending, and he's becoming a better, much more accomplished defender who you can really rely on. And he's really knocking on the door of being a starter in that German defense when obviously Boateng and Hummels decline. Luiz is a liability. I keep saying this. Luiz is not a defender. The reading of Luiz's game, his anticipation just isn't good enough for him to be that central defender. Hence why you always see him making last-ditch tackles and trying to run the ball away, because if your reading of the game and your IQ is high, you don't have to make those last-ditch tackles. And so many times, he misses that through ball. He misses that pass. Like for 2 of the goals in the Community Shield, he was the guy to blame. So if you're Emery, you want to put as much pressure on Luiz as possible. Ozil is not interested in shooting the ball or being an attacker. But you've got Mkhitaryan there. But my thing is that if you have 2 men occupying that spot in the middle of the pitch, that makes it a lot tougher for the central defenders to do anything. Because if Lacazette receives the ball, he knows that a few yards away, Aubameyang is there. And obviously, like you see, when you see a formation, that's not how it is done in practice on the pitch. So obviously, Aubameyang, you will drift wide right, Lacazette will drift wide. But what I would say for Emery is like, my gosh, or make those 2 defenders occupied. Do not have a Lacazette isolated, because if you have 2 strong central defenders, you need to go out wide and really use your wide men. But if you have a pretty good defender and a suspect other central defender, put 2 men right there so you fully occupy them. So that means that they fully have to be aware. So you don't have a striker isolated. So I will put Aubameyang and Lacazette in that spot there to fully occupy them. And the issue with Ozil is that Ozil is not he's not enough of an attacking player. Like, let's say if that was Muller right there, Muller would be able to be, okay, he can do the number 10, but he can actually go up and actually be much more of an attacker and actually has much more bite in the attack. So switching over to Chelsea right now, you see, I don't trust Pedro. And then my whole thing is that roll with Loftus-Cheek. Roll with Hudson-Odoi. I get there's this thing of having the respect of experience. I get it. I understand it. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Simple as that. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Hudson-Odoi, from what I've seen of him, is better than Morata, is better than Pedro, is better than Barkley. So that is the reality of the matter. He's better than those guys. So I think he should be starting. I think Loftus-Cheek offers more in a footballing sense and is much more exciting and more dangerous than Pedro. Because for me, from what I've seen of Pedro, look, his decline, the Barcelona Pedro you're not going to see him again. Now, maybe he was just a guy who fitted into a very specific system for at Barcelona. So for me, I'd roll out. You know what? You see, I told you, Giroud has his uses. Giroud is a brick, but he's a useful brick. So I'll roll with a Hazard, Giroud, Loftus-Cheek. Because with Giroud there, knowing how iffy Arsenal have been defensively under Emery, Giroud is a presence, a strong presence, and right there he is a perfect foil to bring in Hazard and to bring in Loftus-Cheek and to be able to combine off of them. Because, I mean, wasn't it the combination with Giroud and Hazard in the FA Cup final? So, I'll start with Giroud because I'm sorry, Morata, he's a brick. And Morata's not going to do anything effective in this game. And it's all about being effective. Not necessarily playing about the so-called better players, because Morata is a better player than Giroud. But Giroud is far more effective tactically, and I think in this game against Arsenal he'll be far more effective than them. But I think I definitely want to just see what Torreira is up to, because I think that guy can be very, very crucial for Arsenal, and I think he's going to be the guy who will be required to hold the midfield. And I think Emery right now, he's already thinking, I need a replacement for Xhaka because Xhaka is crap. But also as well, Kante and Jorginho. Told you, Jorginho is important. Jorginho is very important to this system. So don't listen to what the ESPN FC guys say. There's a reason why he brought in Jorginho. There's a reason why Italy fought so hard to get Jorginho to play for the national team as opposed to Brazil. And the thing about Jorginho is he's like Busquets. He pretty much is Busquets, but less skillful, but more mobile and more attacking. He's Busquets, but less skillful than Busquets. I think Busquets is far more skillful than Jorginho, but Jorginho offers much more in the attack. Busquets can't run. He literally can't run. Jorginho is a guy who can actually go forward, bring up the ball, and I think he can also score a G as well. But I think it's very interesting to see the combination of Jorginho and Kante and how they can hold the midfield and dominate the midfield, and to see whether Jorginho and Kante can. Because for me, I expect Jorginho and Kante to dominate over Xhaka and Torreira, because Ozil, we already know that Ozil is just there to be number 10 and just to create. He ain't there to be part of the dogs and the thugs in the trenches of the midfield. So I'm very interested in starting with Czech. And the thing with this is that, it's a similar thing with Morata as well. Emery, put Leno in goal. Like you say, look, no, I stand by my man and everything. No offense to Czech and everything. Czech hasn't been relevant since 04-05. It's not been relevant since 04-05. Okay, it's not been relevant since 04-05. Put Leno in that damn goal. So pretty. I don't think we're pretty. You know what? 3-1 Chelsea. 3-1 Chelsea. 3-1 Chelsea. I mean, it sounds a bit harsh, maybe a bit crazy. I do think that this will be a pretty exciting game. I think Arsenal will definitely buoyed off that loss. I think they'll definitely go for it. But I just feel that with Hazard in the team and Kante as well, I just think Chelsea will be able to be much more efficient when their chances come to them. So I do think that there will be chances for Arsenal. Arsenal will get opportunities, but I just feel like if Chelsea will be far more precise. So I'm going to roll with a Chelsea 3-1. Although, as I'm saying that, man, I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it past Arsenal to try and get that win. It is very possible for Arsenal to get that win. So, see, if this was Wenger, I'm not even doing it damn preview. There's no point even turning up. But look, man, there's a possibility. There's a possibility for there's definitely a possibility for Arsenal to get that win. But I think I'm going to roll in with a Chelsea for that win over the Arsenal. All right, guys, peace. Thank you for watching this video. Think about pledging and become a Half of Football Hot patron. Pledge an amount each month and gain access to exclusive videos from your boy, the Football Hot, for more analysis. Peace.